Okay, hello and a very warm welcome from myself, Marino Charalambos. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Chat Academies, and I'm delighted that you're joining us this evening for our virtual tour of Heron Hall. In the next 45 minutes or so, we have lots to share with you to help you decide on why Heron Hall should be your first choice. A little bit of housekeeping before we continue. Everyone is muted just to help us present this more easily. And I'm going to run through the running order shortly with you. If you do have a question for us, please put that into the chat and we'll respond to the questions at the end. We will have virtual classrooms available for you to go meet the teachers and ask questions and any ideas that you may have and you want to ask them, please feel free to do so. And we're also going to be talking to you a little bit right at the end about booking a tour that's socially distanced. So if you want to come into the school, have a look around, we can do that in small groups of 6 people at a time, but you need to do that with the school office. If you do have some technical issues, please bear with us. It may be our side, it may be your side, but just be aware that we will be recording this event and you'll be able to see it online again later on or from tomorrow on our website. So, not to worry if you haven't been able to see the whole event, you can still see the event tomorrow online. So just to go through the running order with you now, shortly we'll be having a video from our Chair of Governors and she'll be talking to you about our school. Then I'll be introducing our fantastic head teacher, Mr. Barzi, who will be presenting Heron Hall and all the fantastic work we do at Heron Hall. Following that, we'll have some videos from our students and a tour of the school as well. So there's lots to fit into our presentation this evening. At the very end, you'll be able to ask some questions directly to myself and the head teacher, Mr. Barzi. So anything that we haven't covered in the presentation, please feel free. We're available for you and we want you to make sure that you've asked everything. If you've forgotten something tonight, you can also email us. You can ask on social media. We're always available to answer any questions. Okay, so thank you very much. So I'd like to now introduce our Chair of Governors, Aveta, and we've got a short video that we'll be playing now.
Good evening, parents, carers and students, and also the staff at Heron Hall Academy. Thank you very much for coming to the open evening, which is a very important evening for you. As parents, you're making choices about your students' future. My name is Aveta McInnes. I'm the chair of the Academy Advisory Committee, or Chair of Governors, at Heron Hall Academy, and I'm really pleased to welcome you here today. I've been in education myself for nearly 40 years. Since becoming a governor in 2018, I then went on to become chair in 2019. I've really enjoyed working with the team of staff, with the other governors, and making a difference, hopefully, to the school. In my role as governor, I'm responsible for the strategic direction of the school and also for the performance. We're also responsible for the day-to-day, the running of the school in terms of areas such as curriculum review, pupil premium, special needs and behaviour. Just to say, Heron Hall's Academy is a very good school. They're doing really well, and in the last 3 years have made great improvements, great strides. The current year 11, the year 11 that have just left, have done particularly well, and each year the results have improved. And I noticed on the website the examples of the five students of the year 11 who'd done particularly well, achieving 14 or 15 GCSEs, which is excellent. In addition to that, Heron Hall Academy has great opportunities for students in terms of visits to other settings, extracurricular activities, which include a range of sporting activities and music activities. And I noticed on the website podcasts produced by students, and the CEO regularly sends out information about activities that the students are doing both in class and outside of class. They also have opportunities for students to take responsibilities such as prefects, library monitors, which all make a difference, and there are excellent relationships in the school between staff and students, staff and staff, and the leadership of the school led by Mr. Barzi. If there are any parents who are interested in becoming governors, please do not hesitate to consider that role. You can find information on the website if you go to governance, and you'll see what the role entails in more detail. And you're welcome to contact me by email or the head teacher, Mr. Barzi, if you want more information. I wish you all the very best, parents and carers, this evening in finding out about the school, and hope that you make a good decision for your child's future. All the very best. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much to our chair, Avetta McGuinness, fantastic chair. She helps drive our school forward. But now I'd like to introduce our fantastic head teacher, Mr. Arthur Barzi, who will welcome you to the event.
Good evening, parents, carers, and children. I'm extremely delighted that you can find time to join us this evening. And I hope you're well and your families are well. I've taken time to record a message to you to give you a taste and a flavor of the kind of provisions that we'll make here in Heron. I would appreciate your time if you can take time to listen to that presentation, because it gives you a general overview about the good quality of education provided here and all, and I will take extra strains to ensure that your little babies, when you hand them over to us, they're in safe hands, they're in this environment where they can thrive, they can learn, and they can enjoy growing up. So I'll let you listen to the presentation now. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Arthur Barzi, and I'm the head teacher here at Heron Academy. And firstly, and most importantly, I hope yourself and your families are all keeping safe and well in these very challenging and unprecedented circumstances. I want to reassure you that in reopening the school, we ensure that every safety precaution has been taken care of. Extensive cleaning takes place every day in the school to ensure that children coming to school are learning in a clean and safe environment as teachers, because they also have their families to go home to. The purpose of this evening, of course, is because the next 5 years are going to be very important for your child growing up. You'll be entrusting the lives of your babies into the hands of adults that you don't know. And that's a very scary prospect, and that's what understand. Those 5 years, 1,200 days, is going to transform the lives of your babies, from young babies into young adults. And that transformation process, you want to be reassured, is in the hands of adults that you can trust. I appreciate that moving to secondary school is a giant step in a very long journey. However, that step should not be a step into the unknown. As a parent, you want to be absolutely sure, absolutely confident that you're doing the right thing for your child by sending your child to a school where your child can grow academically, the child can go pastorally, and the child can achieve and be in a place where they're ready to take the next step in their journey of life. I want to reassure you that Heron Academy is a place. I want to thank you, first of all, for taking the time, even though remotely, to join us to get a presentation, to get a feel about what Heron is about. These presentations, as all the other presentations in all the other schools you go in, are very important because they make a difference in the lives of your child. You see, I was in the same position 15, 16 years ago, looking for a school for my child. I am a local parent. I've spent the best part of my adult life in Enfield. My children were born in Enfield. They went to Enfield schools, went to university. They're back living in Enfield. So I feel a moral obligation, a purpose, if you like, a duty to give back to all the Enfield children what Enfield schools have provided for my children. And when I was in the same position quite a few years back, going around looking at schools, there are three things that were my main focus. As an Enfield parent, will my child be safe in that school? Will my child enjoy going to school? Will my child enjoy learning? Will the adults in that school prepare my child, my children for the future? Those were the three utmost important things to me. And when I have a feel of a school that can do those three things to me, I was content because they're going to be responsible for my child's future. 1,200 days, 5 years of training them, developing them ready for the next stage in life. And that could be scary, but I had to be sure that provision is in place. But I want to reassure you, that is something we do very well here at Heron Academy. Our results show. One of the slides I'm putting up now show you students that came to us in 2015. Young babies, as you can see from the picture there. 5 years later, the picture on the right, the picture with the arrow, the child with the arrow, that student 5 years before was a shy little child who should even stand up in the crowd. 5 years later, she was the head girl, representing the school in external presentations, and she got the best result in the school. 5 years would transform that little girl's life into a young adult who's gone to top achieving A-level provision and is heading to Oxford University. That's the kind of work we can do with students in the school. And of that, I'm very certain. And on the picture below, you can see that even in 2020, when GCSE results were cancelled, our students were in a position to celebrate, as the picture shows there. And that is because over the time they were here, they completed mock exam results, they worked hard, and they were heading for that exam. So when it was all cancelled, when we submitted those grades were strong, were positive, and it allowed them to go to the university they wanted to go to. We've had siblings come through, as this picture showed, one after the other. Parents trust us with one child, they see how well we do with one child, they give us another sibling, and we do the same marvelous work with them. So we're very confident about the provision we can make. And like I said, for me, you may be hearing what I'm saying about the school. I'm sounding almost like a salesman, but you don't have to take my word for it. The external judges that come into school, Ofsted. I want you to go back and check the Ofsted 2019 report. And it highlights certain things that I want to draw to your attention. The report says there very clearly that the school itself has safeguarding arrangements that are actually fit for purpose. And of that we're very proud, because you want to be sure that your child comes to school, the child is safe. The report also says that there is a very good quality of education taking place at Heron Hall. It goes further to say the teaching is strong, especially in English and maths. So the school's new headship has provided the school with a culture of high expectation. Nobody is expected to fail at Heron. The pupils and staff appreciate the sense of stability and the school is moving in the right direction. All these are quotes from the Ofsted 2019 report. So if you don't believe the quality of provision I'm telling you we can give to your child, I want you to read the report and see for yourself. But more importantly, the report also says the school is growing year on year and the school is now oversubscribed, which means if you need to get your place, you need to get it now so you don't lose it. That's how unpopular Heron is becoming. And Heron is becoming popular, as Ofsted has said there, because the quality of teaching is good. And as a parent, when I was searching for school for my children, in addition to being sure my child is safe in the school, they're preparing them for the future, I read the Ofsted report. And what I also looked at, I went and looked at the result, the GCSE result of the school. Because it'll give me an indication about the quality of provision in the school. And when I looked at the report, I think the achievement is high. My child can do it there. And I want you to just take a look at some of these and make you understand where we stand in terms of academic achievement at Heron. The slide I've just showed you shows the achievement of students in 2019 and 2020. 2019 in red, 2020 in pink, and in green, it shows the national averages. And as you can see there, in English, in maths, biology, chemistry, physics, citizenship, resistant material, I can go on and on. The results have increased from 2019 to 2020. And across all of those subjects, the outcome of Heron is above the national averages. So we're proud of the academic achievement, and that is very, very important. But what is also key for me, and I think it should be for you as well, is that you need your child to be safe in school and also outside the school. And those are very important for us as well. Within school, we have a behavior policy. We give a lot of rewards, but there are also sanctions because we operate a zero tolerance approach to poor behavior. Because we believe that every child should have an opportunity to learn, and all that should not prevent them. So it's very important that students come to school dressed smart in the appropriate school uniform, looking as if they're ready to conduct business. They dress smart, they think smart, they act smart. Those are the things we expect of a student. And they conduct themselves in a nice and respectful way towards each other and towards adults as well around the school. So we operate with calm corridors. We want them to conduct themselves as young adults. Within the playground, for example, year 7 have a separate space by themselves. It gives them a chance to feel free to interact without feeling intimidated by the bigger students. All those provisions are made. Lunchtime and break time, have members of staff all over there supervising, ensuring that they can interact, they can play, but in a safe and sensible manner. That doesn't stop there. After school, my SLT members are out there. We're there in the streets and making sure they get onto the buses safely. And first thing in the morning, even myself or members of my SLT in Tesco's, ensuring that the kids go in there, they get their lunches, and they move safely to school. And when they get through these gates, their responsibility is entirely. So we care for them as safety both inside the school and outside the school. So where safety is concerned, where the academic provision is concerned, as Ofsted shows, as the GCSE results show, I can reassure you, if your choice is Heron, you're making the right choice. But quite frankly, and to be honest, the academic qualification is important. But something that is even more important for me is that my vision is that these children, under our expert guidance, okay, they will maximize their academic potential. They will flourish. into well-rounded, confident, forward-thinking, polite, well-mannered students. Students who are excited to contribute to society. They are vibrant to involve in a thriving community. It is my aim that will support them through all these academic studies. But alongside the academic study, what is equally important is to build that character and culture in them. Because they need to go out there into that challenging world with skills that when life throws the challenges at them, they're able to get up, stand up, and go and take on the next challenge. Therefore, my values in this school is built on this word, the STRIVE values. We expect our students to be supportive, to be tolerant, to be resilient, to have integrity and show integrity. We want them to be visionary. We want our students to strive for the best and to go for excellence. We want them to be supportive of each other. We inculcate those characteristics in them. Teachers will support them, but they need to be able to support each other. We want them to be tolerant. We live in a multicultural society, a very cosmopolitan part of North London. If you come into the playground, you go into the staff room, it's like a mini United Nations. We're proud of the diversity, and we train students to be tolerant of each other, to respect people for what they are. But we also know that academic work can be challenging, because life is going to be challenging. So school for us is like a microcosm of life out there. They're going to get knocked back in school academically. Out there in a place of life of work, they're going to get setbacks. That is what life is about. So train them to be resilient, to take the knock, and I say to them, if you get knocked to the ground, as long as you can look up, you can get up and fight another. So resilience is important. We also try to build in them that sense of pride and integrity, to know to do the right thing without being told. These are important soft skills, which alongside their academic qualification will set them on the right path for life. They need to have a dream, be visionary. We encourage them to challenge themselves, to dream big. But don't go back to sleep. To dream, wake up and do something about the dream and strive for excellence. So those STRIVE values are extremely important for us. And the only way we can achieve those values is because we know very clearly that these children that come to us, these children come with different needs. And that's a fact of life. We were all different. But I have a team, a very strong team, which is ready to support them. As this next slide shows, the picture shows to you, my leadership team includes myself, the head teacher, and 7 assistant head teachers. That team is working collaboratively with the middle leaders, the heads of the department. But equally as important, we've got a very huge inclusion team. This team involves mentors, counselors, child psychologists, so we can cater for all the needs of our children. Poor behavior might have a reason, might have a root, and our job is to make provision for students where the behavior is not as expected. Whatever needs the children have coming to a school, we try to cater for them, because our job is to make sure we maximize their potential. I've got a team of staff, over 100 teaching staff, highly qualified staff. It's no doubt then our academic outcomes are so positive. So what I'm saying to you, you listen to me right now, is that your needs of your child were the needs of my child. And I say to all of my teachers, if a provision is not good for your children, it's not good for the children coming to the school. Because those are my philosophy that I live by. I need to give the best to every child. It's very important that we see things from that perspective, because when you think about this diagram here, the only way you can make a difference for a child is if you know the child very well. So pride ourselves about knowing our student very well.
We pride ourselves by not blaming them for their differences. We pride ourselves for identifying their differences and working with the differences to make sure they reach their potential. We want to know how they learn at home. We try to know the strength in literacy, in maths, what their interests outside school, what are the challenges they might be facing. It's only by knowing our students very well and we invest a lot of time in this that we can make a difference in their life. Because I think it was George Orwell said, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Same for us humans. And we recognize that we come with differences, inequalities. But as this slide shows you here, it doesn't matter. When the children come to us, our job is to find the strengths and the weaknesses. And where the weaknesses are, is to provide them with the right kind of support that they need. You cannot give every child the same kind of support because they're all starting at different level. We'll give them the different level of support they need, so at the end of the day, they all get to achieve their potential. And all this good work and successful work we do is because of the facilities we have as well. My biggest and most expensive resource are my teachers. We invest a lot in good quality teachers. But what's also been invested on is the environment. Very modern facilities. The labs are places for you to go in there and feel inspired. The science lab, the DT lab, the food room, the quality of the equipment there. When you come and see them, you know that your child is in an environment where they can learn, they can succeed. The classrooms, all with interactive whiteboards. The canteen, even the eating area, is nice and vibrant. Your child feels as if they're in an environment where they can engage and can learn. And that is very important for us. But equally as important is the outdoor spaces. We've got a brand new 4G AstroTurf, very high quality. Table tennis facilities, indoor basketball. So if your child has got that sporting inclination, they love the sport, the provision is there. And I'm very keen to make sure every child is provided for. The provision here at Heron is an excellent provision. The students come here, they're exposed to the challenges out there, but they're also given roadmaps to lead them to success. And that is what we do very well here. The students are involved in helping the community. We raise charity, the food bank. We want them to feel that this community is the community and it belongs to them. So we encourage a kind of community help and community giving. What I'm saying to you here, what we provide after 5 years of you entrusting your child to us is not a good set of qualifications only, but a well-rounded individual who's ready to go out into the life of work, and be challenged, contribute, and make a success. We cannot do this alone. We need your help. So what we have here is what I call the triangle of support and success. The staff, the student, and the parent form a triangle. We all work together, we can accomplish anything because we're stronger together. And this is why we do it, as this clip shows you. After 5 years, there's a happy student, happy staff, happy parent. Again, a love triangle. Oh, sorry, there is a love triangle, a triangle of love. And that is very important for us. I want to ensure you that the provision here is second to none. We care about our students, we ensure that their needs are met, and very important for us, there's always an open line of communication because we cannot do it alone, we need the support of parents. Together, we can succeed. I want to thank you very much for your time. In the next few weeks, we're going to have small tours around the school. The details of that will be published on the website. But whatever you do, remember, look after yourself and be safe. When you go visit, think about the safety of your child. Do they enjoy the school? Will they achieve their potential? Those are things we can do here because we always strive for success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arthur. That was a great presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed that. But we haven't finished there yet. So we've got our two brilliant year nines who asked if they could make a video about the school. So over to Edward and Macy, and we're going to look at their video about Heron Hall.
Hey Enwood, are you there?
Hi Macy, I'm here.
Enwood, I have this exciting idea.
What is it?
Hey, why don't we make a film about the school?
Macy, that's a great idea.
Right. I'm going to call the head teacher, Mr. Barzi, to ask if this will be a good idea. And I'm going to call him right now.
Great. I wonder what he'll say.
Hello, Mr. Barzi. It's Macy from Year 9. I'm here with Edward. You know we can't have an open evening because of COVID. I've had a fantastic idea. Would you let me and Edward make a film about this great school? Yeah, Okay, Mr. Barzi, thank you.
What did he say?
He said it was a great idea.
Right, let's make a film. My name is Edward and I'm in Year 9.
Hello, my name is Macy and I'm in Year 9.
Where every child has a potential, and our job is to harness that potential, develop that potential, make them believe they can succeed, give them the resilience to overcome disappointment, to strive and go and make a difference.
Some of the main differences moving from primary to secondary school was how I had to move around classes and how big the school was. I've made friends at Heron Hall. Some of my favorite subjects at Heron Hall are PE, computer science, and English. Some things I like about Heron Hall is how diverse and helpful the teachers and students are in the school. I like computer science because of how it teaches you how to code and work on computer properly, and I find it interesting. Some of my favorite foods in the school are curry and the pizza. Mr. Barzi is like the leader of the school as he runs it, and he comes in checking in class to see if everything's in order. Make Heron Hall your first choice.
Hello, my name is Macy and I'm in Year 9. Being a student at Heron Hall Academy is really fun because you get to do lots of different things there. The school is really big, so you could get lost in it. But I found my way around really easily because I followed my timetable and what I was doing. The homework is really good here, and they set it on dates when you get it. So say, for example, in maths, you get it Thursday, and then next week, Thursday, you bring it in. Some of my favorite subjects would be PE, English, art, and maths. My hardest subject would be maths because I struggled in primary, but as I came into secondary, I got the hang of it a lot more. In school, the sports are table tennis, football, netball, basketball, and volleyball sometimes. You can do 10-minute runs and some other stuff as well. My favourite sport here would be football and basketball. The school is very fun at times, but the behaviour is really good as well. And the school is very nice. Like, all the teachers are very nice, and all the teachers help you with their work, and the school is very fun once you get used to it. In Year 9, it's very fun but different to Year 8 and Year 7 because in Year 9 it's kind of like a little bit more challenging because now that you've got your GCSEs and now you're going to be studying a lot more because of your GCSEs.
Right.
Making friends here was very nice because everyone's really nice here. So it was kind of easy, unless you're one of them people that don't really want to make friends and just want to get on and be independent. Some of my best friends are Berfin, Ruya, Maya, Zumray, Elida, and Ella. The library is actually very nice. It's decorated with books, and you can find all different books there. And the teacher in there is called Madam Morris. She's a very nice lady. My favourite book was The Black Horse because it really inspired me because it was kind of independent, and I like being independent at times. Here we are in the art room. It's very magical in here and it's very lovely because there's all different types of drawings and paintings. Here we do painting, drawing, clay and collages.
Yeah, I'm Councillor Doug Taylor, Councillor for Ponders End, and we were as judges all very impressed by Nia's work here. The vibrancy of the colours and the composition, I think, impressed us all. So we were all very happy to award Nia the award as the best in Year 10.
Here we are in our amazing science room, and this is where we do our experiments. In Heron Hall, we have some of the biggest labs in the whole of London.
You get to work on some very interesting experiments. You also have to dress up in a white coat and big goggles, but that's for safety.
All the science lessons are supervised by a technician.
Hi, my name's Mr. Warner. I'm one of the assistant head teachers at Heron Hall in charge of character, pastoral and rewards. And character education is something that we find really, really important here, making sure that our students leave us not just with academic qualifications, but with the skills and the tools required to be able to go on to be successful in life. So that is why the STRIVE values, the 6 key characteristics, supportive, tolerance, resilient, integrity, being a visionary and demonstrating excellence underpin everything that we do here at Heron Hall. In order to embed the STRIVE values, we have a real focus on rewards at Heron Hall. And one of the more exciting rewards is what we call our Superstar Rewards. Anyone who's demonstrated above and beyond in the classroom, be that a one-off or consistently across a series of lessons, is entered into our half-termly Superstar draws, where 5 students in each year group are rewarded every half term with a £10 Amazon gift voucher for going above and beyond within their lessons.
Here's a great view of our Astro pictures. The school recently spent £600,000 on them. We can use the Astro pictures in all weathers. Boys and girls play football.
We've even had visits from Premier League football stars.
We play lots of different sports at Heron Hall.
And we have a huge sports hall. In here we play badminton, basketball and cricket. We have a very large central hall. It's called the Doug Taylor Hall.
In the hall we hold assemblies and there are performances on stage.
The hall is part of the original building. It is designed in the Art Deco style. Heron is a very big school. As you can see, there are long corridors. Because of COVID-19, the school is taking lots of safety measures. Every week, the teachers meet to review them.
As you can see, we've got a pretty large canteen. It is very popular with students. You can get lots of different foods, hot and cold. As you know, young people get very hungry.
Students can also bring in their own food to eat in the canteen.
I know what you're feeling. I sat in this very hall 2 years ago looking at schools for my son. So I sat there in the hall, in the Heron Hall. We did the visit with a lovely student who showed us around the school and the different classes. And we were impressed, I must admit. And I came away thinking, maybe this will go up higher on my list of schools for the choices. I had a good vibe from it. The student who showed us around was really very knowledgeable, really was engaging. And we liked the look of the school. And I spoke to many teachers on that open evening. That's me. I'm a bit of a talker. So I like to find out a bit more about how things are run here, what they would teach the kids, how they would learn. And the thing that I came away with is it's not just the academic side of things that I liked. I like the fact that they help children to discover who they are. And my son, he's a lovely boy, but he is quiet. He is shy. It takes a lot to get his real personality out. He's a totally different boy when he's at home. He's boisterous, he's opinionated. And I wanted the school to be able to bring that out of him. And they have. He had, a bit of a bumpy year 7 to begin with, but now he's settled in. He's got friends. And he, more than anything, his personality is coming through. He's expressing himself. And I like that. I like the fact that now the school is beginning to see the boy that we know at home, and in a short space of time as well. So I am pleased I've chosen this school for him. It's not only pushing him academically, but it's pushing him to become the person I know he will be. So what more can you ask? So if you are looking around this school and you're thinking about, okay, is this going to be the right school for me? Really, really have a good look, because it turned out to be the best school for my son.
That's a great presentation from our year 9s. Before we get back to me, I just want to have your time for another minute. We've got Theodore from year 8, who's produced an animation just for you tonight. So please watch this next video now.
Hello, year 6s. Year 7s. Wait, I know. Either way, I'm going to tell you why going to Heron Hall is the right thing to do. In Heron Hall, we have lots of science classes where you'll participate in many experiments. Maybe you'll even get to be in the Mega Lab. Did you know we had an enormous AstroTurf? It's pretty awesome. PE will be lots of fun. Here in the art department, guess what you'll be doing? If you said art, you'll be experimenting with things like watercolor and shading. That's not art. At Heron Hall, you'll be able to make loads of friends with very interesting people. Last of all, Heron Hall is full of such wonderful teachers. If I told you the best, I would be in a lot of trouble. Not only that, but you get to meet me, Theodore Obianyo. Now, have a great day, and goodbye. Where'd this wall come from?
As you can see, we have many talented young students at Heron Hall. We encourage them to express themselves, to show their talents, and we want learning to be fun. So we do all of that. We keep the discipline. We make sure that our students have high expectations of themselves, and we work very, very closely with our parents. Just to let you know a little bit about Heron Hall. Heron Hall was originally started off in porter cabins at Cook Hall Academy site until we were able to develop the site that the school is on at the moment. We've invested over £40 million through the DFE, Department for Education, to build and develop this fantastic school with some of the latest and state-of-the-art facilities because we're passionate about your children being able to have every opportunity to learn. You know, we know that there's a myriad of abilities and talents and dreams and expectations, and we want to be able to facilitate that, work with the parents, expect the highest standards of our staff, our teachers, and we have a fantastic leader, Mr. Bazi, to enable all of this to happen. So from the Trust, from Chat Academies, we provide the support, the infrastructure, and we're always there to make sure we're looking ahead. What's next? What can we do? We want your children to be the citizens of the future. You know, so we're handing over lots of challenges to them as adults, and we want to enable them to be able to deal with this in the future. So we want to work together, keep talking to us, keep communicating. We've got lots of channels of communication through our social media or directly with the teachers or the school. And we will be answering some of your questions tonight as well. So before we ask you to leave and join the classes to meet the teachers and inquire and make questions that you may have to the teachers, we have had a number of questions that have been asked of us tonight. Arthur and I, Mr. Bazi and I, will be staying on to answer some of the questions, but we'll tackle some of these now. So I'll just ask Mr. Bazi to unmute as well. And I'll start with the first few that we've received. Right. Let me just go through these. Right. So we had a question about behaviour. You know, how do we guarantee behaviour will be good in the school? And what's our stance on managing behaviour? So, Mr. Bazi, over to you.
For me, that's one of the most important things. We have a behavior policy, and it's within the student planner, so the student know very clearly the expectation. But what we try to focus a lot of is on the positive behavior. So you want a lot of merit for a lot of positive behavior. However, the cases where student behavior is not up to scratch, and we have also system of recording this poor behavior. So there are sanctions. In the case where we know that a student in class behavior is so bad, it's affecting the learning of others, we have what we call a reflection room, and that's here to be taken out of lesson, taken to a reflection room where the mentors will talk to the student to try to address the issues and causes of the student behavior. In certain cases, unfortunately, we also give a sanction, a 15-minute detention after school. But when this does happen, that will be communicated to parents. And if this happens more than once, we tend to invite parents into school to have a discussion so we can work together to try to mitigate this poor behavior. So we can kind of, if you like, nip it from the bud. So we have very clear expectations which are reiterated regularly in form time, in assemblies, but generally we tend to focus more on the positive behavior and we get loads of that, and that is richly rewarded.
Thank you, Arthur. Couple more questions. So we've had a question about the talented and gifted children. And again, we support every child in our school. So regardless of their ability, we will challenge them and push them to achieve their maximum potential. Arthur and his team do that every day to make sure that we're not leaving any child behind.
Can I add to that we also have identified what we call the gifted and talented clubs. So we have provision for extremely talented students, and we take them to visit in Cambridge and Oxford University to raise their aspiration. And we also have what a group called the Brilliant Club, which are graduates from Oxford University. We come into school and work with our talented students. So that provision is there. We identify them early, we push them and raise their aspirations.
Okay, a couple more questions. So we've had questions about whether we have music bands, whether we do enrichment activities, and how we support our children to explore new opportunities. The answer to those questions is yes, we do have lots of opportunities for music, for extracurricular activities. We do the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, and we also make it our drive to take children to experience new opportunities like the theatre, restaurants, museums, like Mr. Bazi just said, universities. So we feel it's our duty to take children out of our community here and show them what else is out there for them, and to really broaden their horizons. Before I forget, just to let you know, the virtual classrooms are now open. So if you do want to speak to the maths teachers, science teachers, yeah, we do have a slide here. If you go back to our website, there's a link for each one of these virtual rooms. So please feel free to log into those and ask the teachers individual questions, you know, things that may interest you directly about a subject or about how certain things will be taught, and the pathway for your child in those subjects. So yeah, please, you know, the rooms are open now, so please do join. We'll continue with a couple more questions and then we'll pause to give you a chance to join those other rooms. If you do want to stay on this room, both the head teacher and I will be here taking on more questions. So I'll just take another question for now before we pause. So we had a question that says, do teachers work with parents? Because that's not the case in all schools. So Arthur, over to you.
Well, like one of the slides I just showed you there, we are what Adit says the triangle of success and the triangle of support. Quite frankly, in as much as we'll try to make provision, the best provision for your children, we don't know them half as much as you do. So yes, we're in constant and regular communication with parents. We always get them in to get the support. Outside just the normal parent evening and teacher evening, we open those channels of communication. And we have system where you can see the students report on a day-to-day basis, their outcome, their attendance, whether they're late for lesson or how many merits they achieved in a lesson. So those lines of communication are always there. I run what I call an open door policy. You don't necessarily have to book an appointment even to see me. You come into the office, you say you want to see me, I always make it a point of duty to see you, because I firmly believe that there is no way we can make a difference in your child's life, in a baby's life, without the support. That triangle cannot stand unless the school is working strongly with the home and the parent to support the child at the bottom there. So yes, well, very strong linked, and my heads of year, my deputy heads of year, my SLT are always ready to answer questions and queries at any point in time.
Thank you, Arthur. We're just going to pause there just to give you a chance to look at the other rooms, and we'll be back in 30 seconds if anyone wants to continue. Both Mr. Bazi and I will stay on this room. Okay, so if you want to go to the other rooms, please go to the website and you can log into the other rooms now. Okay, so we'll take a few more questions. We've had a question about how do we deal with transgender children? Well, our view is that all children are the same. We treat them equally, fairly, and we allow them to express themselves. And we encourage that, and we teach that also to other children, to be tolerant, to be understanding, and to be supportive. We do that through our PSHE program. And we do that throughout everyday life in our schools. As Mr. Bazi shared the slide about equity, equality, and liberation, we truly believe in liberation. We want to give people that freedom to explore, to understand, to experience, and to become the adults and the citizens that we want them to become. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Mr. Bazi.
Well, I firmly believe that school is a microcosm of society. We're trying to develop young children into young adults and give them a taste of what reality is like out there. The society out there, outside the gates of Heron Hall, there are people of different orientation. That's why tolerance is a very important part of our Strive values. It's about living with each other. Like I said, in the classroom, in the staff room, in the playground, the school like a mini United Nation. There are people from students and teachers from all over the world. So we encourage people to respect people for who they are, and we live as one happy family. So we always celebrate this idea of the Heron Hall family. And in family, you respect differences, you celebrate differences, and that's what we're good at.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we're a firm believer of community at the heart of everything we do. We believe that schools should be at the heartbeat of the community, and we want to represent the community as well. So we want, when people look at us as leaders, teachers, staff, that they see a reflection of themselves, that we could inspire them, in some way to be even better than us, and to achieve everything they dream of. We do that in a way by working with families, and sometimes we recognize that it can be very difficult for families, especially now during COVID-19. Many people are struggling with work. We've had furlough, people losing their jobs. What we've tried to do is to support our families. We have a very good community outreach program, and our safeguarding team works very closely with families as well. In fact, we have a hardship fund that we've set up for some of our families that are finding times very challenging. We have a set of criteria that we ask people to look at, and if we can support our families, we will. And sometimes, those are the things that people forget, but we fully believe that we are embedded into this community, and having that communication with parents, with our children, understanding the difficulties, the challenges they may face, is so important in us being successful, not only academically, but socially, and being the fabric of what this community is all about. I've had a question about uniforms, and yes, the cost of uniform is quite high, and it's something that we're looking at, because we recognise that during these difficult times, families may struggle with the cost of the uniform, and as such, we've set up a uniform fund for some of our families that are finding things very challenging at the moment. Hopefully by the next academic year, we would have found new suppliers that can reduce the cost of uniforms. We are working hard at the moment to identify new suppliers. So do watch out. We will make sure that we help all our families to make it more affordable. We are really keen on the uniform because it sets very high standards. It's a uniform you would sort of mostly find with independent private schools. And because we set the standards so high, we want our children to feel that they are coming to a school that is equal to a private or independent school. So the uniform plays a big part in that. But we do hear what you're saying, and we will work hard to try and find a lower cost supplier for the uniform. I do have some more questions here. So I've had a question about lunch and the menu. We're very lucky. We have our own in-house catering. It's not shipped in from an external supplier. We do all of our cooking in-house daily, and it's all fresh produce. So we're really proud of that because our kitchens have the 5-star rating. So the local authority has graded our kitchens a 5-star. And the reason we can achieve that is because we want to make sure our children have a really good, wholesome meal at school. So they do have a lot of choice, so some children choose baguettes, but there is a very good variety of meals. We have curries, we have chicken, we have, pasta, we have lots of different things, salads, healthy food, and wholesome food. So yes, if you do want to experience the food, normally we would invite you in to have lunch. At the moment, it's a little bit difficult to do that, but if things do change, you're welcome to come in and have a lunch on us. But we'll let you know when that time becomes available. But we're really proud of that fact, because we believe that our children should have nutritious food, be ready to learn, and we work hard on that. Just looking at some more questions here. Do we have a year 12 or year 13? That's a really good question. It's something that we're striving for. It's very challenging at the moment because the funding for sixth forms is very reduced at the moment. We are looking at how we can make this work, and we hope that in the next 2 or 3 years we'll be able to launch our sixth form, so that we can keep our young learners all the way through until they're 18 before they go to university. And as many of you may already know, we have a partnership with Warwick University, which is one of the top 5 universities in the UK. So we work with Warwick University to train our teachers. So some of our trainee teachers will be working with Warwick University, who are graded outstanding by Ofsted for their provision. So we want to improve that partnership, and if we do have a sixth form, encourage our students to go to Warwick University, Oxford, Cambridge, and the other leading universities in the country. Mr. Barzi, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you've covered all the points there, because like I said, for us is the aspiration that we have for our children. And what we try to build, if we can, is, if you like, a cradle to grave kind of provision, where we can take your little babies all the way through until they get into university. But we don't wait for them to be ready for that point. Like I said earlier on, we give them opportunities to go and see what university life is like, even in year 9, even year 8. This year we're going to be doing what we call the a writers club, where we're bringing an in-house writer for them to write short stories, anthologies, we will publish like hardback copies, and we'll celebrate that. So we're challenging them to aspire, and we give them a feel of what it's like to be out there. So a provision to go into the sixth form will be the next natural progression for us, because we spend 5 years working with these your little babies. When they turn 15, 16, we don't want to let them go yet. We want to hold them to another 2 years, so we're ready to put them out into the world of the university. Because like I said, it's not just the academia, it's also building the culture in them, developing the skill in them about how you treat people, how you respect people, and how people can respect you. It's a rounded education, and we feel when we leave it at 16, it's not quite done yet. So we want to take it up to 18 years, then send them off to top universities. Then they can come back and work for Heron Hall and also contribute to their own community and to the society.
Thank you, Arthur. We've had a question here about whether chat students have a priority. They do. So on our admissions policy, we allow chat students to be ranked higher than other students. So if you've gone to a chat school, you'll get a priority to be admitted to Heron Hall. So please put us first choice, so then we can prioritise you if you've been at one of our primary schools. Also, I would also urge you, if you're from another school, if you're thinking about whether Heron Hall is the choice for you, I can say, hand on heart, that we are working tirelessly to make sure that we're the school of choice, because every child to us is an individual, every child matters. And often when I meet with Mr. Barzi, he'll have children's images on his wall, knowing exactly how much progress every child has to make to achieve their potential. So when you're thinking about whether to put us first choice, second choice, I would recommend that put us first choice, because we did have a waiting list for the last 3 years. So if you want to guarantee your place, then that's what I would suggest. I've had a question here about exclusions. We're very clear about our view on exclusions. we try and support every child. But if a child brings in a weapon, then we have zero tolerance. And the reason we do that is not because we don't care about that child, it's because we have 1,000 other children that we need to make sure are safe and they're able to come to school every day knowing that the school leaders will not tolerate any weapons of any kind in the school. Unfortunately, the children will make mistakes, and we have had very difficult decisions to make sometimes. But we believe strongly that we have to set a high bar, and our expectations are made very clear from the outset. We live in a very challenging area. Our schools are in very challenging areas with lots going on in the community, and we want to guarantee that our school is a safe haven, an oasis for learning for children, somewhere where children can come and learn and progress and know that we will make sure it's safe every day. Okay. Mr. Barzi, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Well, yeah, for me, the first and most important thing as a parent, like I said, when I was looking at getting my own children into Enfield School, is the school safe? Because quite frankly, the quality of education doesn't take place if the child is not safe in the first case. And when the parents walk through the gate and leave their little babies with me, they become our children. That's why I talk about the Heron family. And I say to my teachers, if the quality of education is not good for your own children, it's not good for any of the students in Heron. And therefore, safety is paramount to me. And if they're not safe, they cannot learn. For me, it's in that, the priority is in that order. The safe, they enjoy, and then they learn. So I don't have any qualms about that. And the students are also very clear about the expectation. And so exclusion is not high. That is because we're very clear with students, we're very clear with parents what expectations are, because quite admittedly, we live in a challenging part of Enfield. It's an area of high socioeconomic deprivation. And where there's socioeconomic deprivation, other challenges come with it. So we need to make sure when those students walk down Queen's Road, there are students. When they walk through the gates, there are students. And safety is paramount for us. So, like I said, we won't go to very exclusionary because the students work with us, the parents work with us. In the few cases where it has happened, as the CEO just said, we have a zero tolerance approach.
Mr. Barzi, we've had a question about the online learning. What if we went into a lockdown again? What would be our provision for online learning?
Well, the quality of online provision has improved significantly. We'll be using Google Classroom, and in fact, on Friday, this Friday, there's going to be another training session for teachers. So school is closed on Friday, and there's a full set of training for teachers using Google Classroom and using Google Meet. So we're preparing banks of resources ready. So if at this point in time, even if today the government said we need to shut down, we have resources ready. Every student from year 7, current year 7 up to 11 have been given login codes so they can easily log in, and teachers have been preparing resources where they can actually deliver online sessions. So we don't want it to happen, but if it does happen, we're prepared. But what we also do, as a backup, we also give students hard copies of revision guides and workbook. So when we closed down, for example, we went, even include myself and members of staff, we went door to door from year 7 to 11, delivering workbooks for them. So if they have problem with internet capacity, they still have workbook to work from. So we try to cover all bases. I'm confident, quite confident that we can deliver a good quality education remotely at this point in time.
Thank you, Arthur. So I've had a question about grades. Yes, our grades did increase this year. However, we went through a very thorough process because prior to the government announcing how they were going to establish the grades, whether they were going to use an algorithm or a different method. We went through a very rigorous approach to make sure that we weren't overinflating grades, because there's a danger. If you overinflate grades, you set up these children to fail in the future. And Mr. Barzi and his team sometimes painfully went through line by line every single child's progress during the year. And that was evidenced through not only the mock exams, but their coursework, their books, their homework, the teachers' expectations of that child. And I'm very confident, and actually, you know, I don't think we've said this tonight, but when we submitted our centre grades, and the government run the algorithm on our grades, all of our grades were increased, you know, by the government, whereas the national picture was that grades were decreased after the algorithm. We had the opposite actually in our school. So that reassured us that the head teacher and the senior leaders and the teachers had done their work properly and hadn't overinflated grades. So they didn't need to be pulled back by the government at all. We were very surprised actually that some of our grades were being increased slightly by the government, but it made me very confident that actually the moderation and the process that we'd carried out through Heron Hall was rigorous, fair, and absolutely correct. Mr. Barzi, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yes, I can add to that. I want parents listening to me to be reassured that one thing for me, I said it's part of our values, is integrity. And I also espouse those values as well. So when it came to the GCSE results and getting those grades, I went through a very rigorous process, but I can tell you, the reason why those grades end up to be so good and strong is because we don't just train and work with the student for the exams. We work with them right through. So their mock exam results, they are rigorous exams. We prepare them for them. The student also treats it with a lot of honesty. And it's that hard work that actually pays the dividends at the end. Quite frankly and honestly, our students were disappointed that the exam did not actually happen, because they've gone through so much work, so much preparation, they were ready. And I sincerely believe, and so do my staff, that if the actual GCSE actually happened, our grades will have even been better than what we achieved. Because let's don't forget, the last 3 months in year 11 can make a massive difference in some students' attitude. And we'll see massive leaps in that period of time. That did not happen for the students. But all through the time from year 9 to 11, when they started the GCSE, they've been working consistently hard. So the quality of the mock exam results, for us, the word mock exam is not like a pretend exam, it's a real exam. And the student treated with that. So when our teachers submitted the grade, I didn't just take the grade for it. We had a meeting with the heads of departments. They brought evidence of the mock exam results. We videotaped the meeting. We recorded the meeting. So if any external authority want to come and check and verify how we got those grades, we got evidence. During that time, we'll have year 11 bringing back their mock papers, the books as evidence. So it was a very rigorous process, and my teachers are very confident that if we actually gone through the GCSE itself, our grades will have even be better than what was published.
Thank you, Arthur. Arthur, a couple of questions about what time does school start and what time does school finish?
Right. Well, normal school starts at 8:40 and finish time is 3:20. That's on a normal day. But as you very well know, we are living in abnormal circumstances. Because of COVID now, we want to ensure that students can come into the school in a safe way, and therefore we have a staggered start, which starts with year 11th at 8:30 and end up with year 9th at 9 o'clock. So there is a staggered start in the morning and a staggered end at the end of the day, which starts at 3:10 and finish at 3:30. So different year groups start at different times. and end at different time. But that is just the arrangement because of this COVID-19 situation. So on a normal day, school day is an 8:40 start and a 3:20 finish.
Mr. Bazi, I have a question here about options. Can you tell us a little bit about options?
Right. Now, options is very interesting, and there are two schools of thought on this one. We start our options at the end of year 8 when the students go into year 9. Because we believe after 2 years, most kids have a general idea of the subject they like and they want to do. So we give them about 3 years working on that subject. So end of year 8, beginning of year 9, they choose their options. English, math, science, of course, is not an option. Every child is expected to do that, but outside that, they have a plethora of different, not plethora, but quite a large mix of subjects they can choose from history, geography, food technology, design technology, sociology, citizenship, quite a wide variety of subjects, which is students choose at the start of the GCSE from year 9 and they work through it in year 11. As a matter of fact, that has worked well in our favor because even though our current year 11s have missed about 4 or 5 months of education, but because they started the GCSE in year 9, most of the syllabus have actually been covered. So what we got to do now is just a bit of tying up so they're not in a bad place at all. So yes, to answer your question, options start in year 9, the students also study more than 4 languages. They have a choice of Spanish or French, but if they are a native speaker of any other language, for example, Turkish or Italian, we can enter them for the GCSE as well to get an extra language GCSE. We also do ICT, computer science, which will start from year 7 all the way to year 11. So there's a variety of choices depending on what they want. But before they get to the choices, we give them assemblies, we bring in speakers, we run career days for year 8 where we bring people from different walks of life for them to find about what does it mean to be an engineer? What does it mean to be a makeup artist? Whatever the fields are, we bring professionals in, they talk to them, and then when they get to year 10, we bring colleges as well. We take them out to career fairs so they can have a feel about what their likes are and what they want to pursue. So there's a rich support there as well from Enfield Service in guiding them through the careers and the option choices as well.
Thank you, Mr. Bazi. I have a question here. Do we have a breakfast club? And if so, how much does it cost?
Again, breakfast club doesn't run at the moment because of COVID, but normally, yes, we do have a breakfast club, and it's minimal toast and tea. I think it's about 70p or something. I can't give you the exact price, but it is very minimal and it is subsidized anyway. But we're not running the breakfast club at this point in time because, like I said, because of COVID, there is a staggered start and students come in at different times. And the students are all in bubbles. We cannot get the bubbles to mix, as you very well understand. So at this point in time, the breakfast club is suspended. But once this is over, hopefully will be over soon, it will back on as well.
Great. So at what age do we set ability groups?
Well, firstly, the setting ability group is not age, it's stage. So work on the principle of stage, not age. So for example, in the course subject English, Maths and Science, in year 7, they're placed into ability groups because we have enough data on them from primary school, as well as currently our year 7 is doing what is called a GLS test, which is a test on their baseline on English, Math, Science, and their cognitive ability as well. So based on that, we can have an idea of what their level are, and then we can put them in different ability sets.
We have a question here about the virtual classrooms. I think the virtual classrooms are still open if people want to join them. If not, if you can't join them for whatever reason, there will be videos online. So you'll get an introduction from the subject leader about that particular subject, which you can view later. And the presentation will also be online from tomorrow. And if you do have any questions, sometimes people don't feel confident to ask them on a Zoom or a chat. You can email them into the school at the info@Heron Hall Academy email address, or the info@chat email address, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. If we've missed any out tonight, we've not seen them, please feel free to ask and we'll respond to you immediately. Yeah, we just want to reassure you any questions you do have. I've seen a question here about chat staff. We have over 350 members of staff at chat. So yes, your children will get priority, although there are some caveats to that. So if you are a member of staff at chat, please do email me or the HR team or our business and admin head of department, Wendy Bousted, and they'll be able to give you all the information you need. And I'm just having a look if there's any other questions that we haven't answered. What happens if someone comes late, Mr. Barzi, to school?
Sorry, sir. Sorry again. Can you repeat that, Marina?
Sure. Yeah. So if someone attends late on a school day, what happens?
Oh, they're given a late detention, and that information is sent on to parents. Because for me, for parents as well, attendance and punctuality are very important. I say to the students, you need to get your equipment ready the night before. You need to wake up in the morning thinking, today is going to be a different day. I'm going to do something different to make me a better person. And that starts by trying to get to school on time. Because I can say we try to inculcate these traits and characteristics in them, because out there in the place of work, they cannot be it won't be tolerated if they're continuously late. So they need to understand that being punctual to work is going to be important. Being punctual in school is equally as important, because if you miss 50 minutes of lesson over a week, it's over an hour's worth of learning. Over 5 years, that's a massive amount of learning. So punctuality is important for us. So if they're late, after a period of time, they give in a late detention with the SAB at that very day, but parents are informed.
Yeah, we've had a couple of questions about overseas trips and overseas travel. Do you want to mention some of the places we've been to, Mr. Barzi?
Well, we've been to Switzerland, we've been to France. Those are the two most recent ones that we've done. The one to Switzerland was a science trip, and the one to France was French immersion trip. So those are the two that we've done most recently.
Yeah, and obviously with COVID, it's a little bit more difficult to plan for this year, but going forward, we want to expand that and give children more opportunities to see what's around the globe internationally. Also, just something to mention as well. So both Arthur and I have been looking at working internationally with other schools that have more challenges than we do. So, for example, we're looking at schools in Sierra Leone, and we're setting up, we're fundraising actually to send over books, furniture, things that we wouldn't necessarily need or have become a little bit old for us to use. But rather than throwing them away, we're going to share them with children in Sierra Leone and maybe further afield. But our focus this year is going to be Sierra Leone. And we want to also share communication with the children. So our children with the children in Sierra Leone being pen pals, video talking to each other, and just sharing experiences, So we want our children to understand that actually we're in the sort of top percentile in the world of the richest countries, and there's countries out there that have much less than ourselves. And actually the realization of that is really important in their development. Mr. Barzi, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think for me, what is important again is I keep going back to this. It's about developing the student who's ready for the challenges of the world out there. And it's my perspective that our students need to be global citizens. They need to go into any part of the world and be ready to survive. And one way you can try to achieve that is to broaden the horizons about what else is happening out there, not just through the history lesson or the geography lesson, but putting them in touch with the life out there, with students out there. So they have a feel about what education is like elsewhere. In some of those countries, unfortunately, some students are not as privileged. And sometimes exposing our children to some of these children, they can see the challenges other students are going through, and they realize that they're in a fortunate position. And I've seen that have a positive impact where it kicks some students' attitude into gear and make them focus more. So it's about that global citizenship, broadening their horizon, breaking down the barriers of the school to just the school gates to what's outside there. I've had students before in my long career have actually volunteered as a result of that and gone and work in other countries because they believe that they can contribute. As a matter of fact, my own daughter is a testament to that. When she went to university, she only wanted to study something to do with geography and human relations. I wanted her to study geography so she can go into mining and make money so I can retire a rich man. So she said no, she wanted to do better than that. She wanted to change people's lives. So she went to study human geography, international relations, conflict resolution. She volunteers to go out there. And I'm saying it was Enfield teachers who did that to my daughter. I did not put that in that child's head. If it was me, she'll be making money mining. But she said no, she wants to work with people to make a difference. So she's volunteered in different countries. And I'm saying this is what Enfield schools can do. This is what we can do. We can broaden your baby's horizon. So when they come out, you can sit back and say, I'm proud of you because you know they're going out there, they're making a difference. So that kind of international aspect of our work, linking in Sierra Leone, that's something we're trying to develop. And I'm sure your babies will enjoy getting involved in that.
Thank you, Arthur. How do we support children with additional or special needs?
Oh, that's something I'm actually proud of because quite frankly, my inclusion department is the largest department in the school. There are over, I think about 22 members of that department. So we've got specialists, speech and language specialists, we've got social, emotional, mental health mentors, we've got counselors working with them. So when a child comes to school, our Senko has years of experience. She's one of the most experienced I've worked with in my over 30 years of working in education. And we put the children through an assessment. We try to identify what their needs are, and a profile is provided for the students. So what we do with some of the students, they're still in mainstream education, but teachers are giving enough information about how this child will learn and how to guide them. And in most of these classes, they're teaching assistants as well to support the students. But what we try to do to make sure the child don't feel stigmatized, the child feels that she's part of the learning environment. So in some cases, if it's extreme needs, we'll take them out and work with them on a one-to-one basis. But by and large, we try to integrate them in the lesson, but there's sufficient provision for them within the lesson and out of the lesson as well. So the inclusion department is very, very strong. Like I said, it's the biggest department in the school.
Thank you, Arthur. And it's also a drive, for the trust across all of our primaries and the secondary school to make sure that every child is not left behind and they're making the progress they need to make. So we're really driving that home, at all levels. So we have some questions about how long are the breaks, Arthur, how long are the sort of lunch breaks and the other breaks?
Again, I'll give you the normal times because now lunch breaks are staggered. About normal time, every student is out at the same time for break and lunch. Break time is 20 minutes and lunch time is 45 minutes. But like I said, it's different now because right now, year 7, for example, have a lunch time which is about an hour, because they come out at different times because we don't want the year groups to mix. They're in bubbles, so they're fed at different times. But there is sufficient time for them to have the food, run around, relax, chat with the friends, and get back into lesson.
Yeah. And we have a question about how many children sit at a table due to COVID. I think if this is in the classroom, then the children all forward facing, and they're socially distanced as much as possible. But because we work with the year group bubbles, that's the government guidance we're working with. And at lunch, they stay within their bubbles as well, so they're year groups. So they don't mix with other year groups to reduce the risk of COVID. There's a question here about political activities. So if children are interested in taking part in debating, asking questions to the authorities with regards to decision making, to education, do we have any provision for that? Do we support that?
Yes, we do. That's one of the reasons why I introduced citizenship into the curriculum. The citizenship curriculum actually kind of enriches, and that's that kind of fertile part of the student's mind. But what we also setting up is a debating society. That is being set up, which include groups of year 9, 10, and possibly in some cases for year 11 students. But we've also had visits to the parliament. We've also had, sorry, the mayor of Enfield who has visited us a couple of times. And we want to expose the students to that part of life. We also have an eco club, which is addressing everything related to the challenges of the environment. And they've actually written petition to Enfield Council about the waste along Queensway. So our kids they're very astute, they're very aware of what they like the environment to be like, and we encourage that through the debating club, through discussion in citizenship lessons, and as well through the eco club as well.
Thank you, Arthur. Yeah, just to add to that, as an organisation, we have over 900 solar panels across all of our schools because we want to lead by example. We don't want it to be just words. So we encourage our young students to look at ways of improving recycling, renewable energy, and also socially, you know, how you can make your environment better. So sustainability is a core theme in all of our learning. If anyone's interested and you want to see our strategy, if you go onto the chat website, not the Heron Hall website, but the chat website, you can find our strategy document on there, and it details our plans over the next 3 years, how we're going to support our students, and how we plan to enrich their learning, and also support them to be citizens of the future, and how we want to work with the community. So there's lots of information on there. Please do download it and read it. It's something that we're, in my role, that's what I'm being challenged by the trustees to deliver the strategy. And we can only do it by working with the parents, with the community, and all of our schools working collaboratively. So yeah, I think we've covered most of the questions there. You know, if there's anything that we've missed out, please feel free to ask now, or we're happy to respond by email. And if you do want to have a tour of the school, we are running tours, small tours of 6 people. You need to book those with the school office. So either call the office or send an email, and we'll try and book you in as soon as there's a space available. We've had lots of people inquiring already. But yeah, we're always available if you do have any questions. Just seen a question about where do we travel? I think we've just covered that. It's so far we've travelled to France and Switzerland, but we are looking at further afield, you know, other countries as well. As soon as we can get through COVID, we'll be looking at sort of future plans, linking travel to education and the curriculum. Right, so if we don't have any further questions, we're going to end our presentation there. Please, there's still some time to go to the virtual rooms, the virtual classrooms. Do ask the teachers any questions you want about a particular subject. And if you do want to speak to myself, Mr. Barzi, or any of the senior leaders or teachers, please do send an email or contact us on social media. We're always available, you know. But remember, you know, this is a great school. We've got your children at heart. You know, we want the best for them. We don't want them to be deprived because of where they've grown up or because of their postcode. And we truly believe in liberty and equality. And we'll work hard to make your children be successful in life, not just academically, but socially. So please do make Heron Hall your first choice. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.